Yeah, to get to the final boss battle with Bowser, you are supposed to need 70 stars, but there are a few tricks you can use. Which I have actually never pulled off before, but I will give it a try and see if I can pull it off here. And if I can, that will be a nice little piece of history for me. My advice for this is to rearrange the camera, kinda like this, so you can get a sense of depth for where those fire jets are. You don't actually have full camera control in Mario 64. The camera will move to preset positions depending on which circle button you press. Which is probably the biggest problem with the camera in this game, because it's the C buttons that manipulate the camera. That said, actual camera control in a 3D game in 1996 is... we'll complain about the camera being like one of the worst parts of this game now, but in 96, the fact that you could actually control the camera was amazing. Right, so what I'm going to do now is restart this course. No, what I'll do is I will get the there's 2 stars in the volcano. I will get the second one, and then I will go and get the first one, get the one we're actually supposed to get here, because there's actually 2 paths. The first path is the one I'll take when I'm going for the 100 coin star, which I will get on my next run. I will get the 100 coin star, and I will get the hot foot into the volcano star. This one is just something about elevator rides. It's a very simple star. Try and get the camera in a good position. And watch out for this. Yeah. But overall, it's less nerve-wracking than the first star in the volcano. And I'll show you why in a minute when we get to that. But for the minute, what we're going to do is we're going to do a fast forward while I grab all of the coins around here. So, fast forward. Alright, now we're in the volcano, and we have 90 coins. A couple of things I do want to mention about the fast-forwarded bit. Red coins are actually worth 2 regular coins, which is really good. It's why usually, when you're getting the 100 coin star, I'd recommend doing it during the red coin star when you're going to be getting those anyway. The reason I don't in this is because you can't leave the volcano once you're in there. And I don't think there are enough coins outside to get the 100 coin star. There's also... There we go. Yeah, I mentioned before, like, I actually found out how to take out the eyeballs in that level. It was because I was wrong. I was spinning round one with the shell, possibly trying to get the coins that was around that one, and it just suddenly died. And it was like, oh, that's how you do it. Because I previously thought they were invincible. One thing I do want to note, Mario Kart 64, which is one of my favourite Mario Karts, in the Royal Raceway course, does actually have Peach's Castle in it, and you can just go pretty much straight up to the castle and explore most of the outside, and I think that's a really cool little thing. When they brought Royal Raceway back, I think they brought it back in Mario Kart DS, but they also brought it back in Mario Kart 8. When they started doing the retro tracks, they block it off and you can't get to Peach's Castle anymore, which I'm really disappointed in, honestly, every time it happens. Because I thought it was a really cool thing in Mario Kart 64, and one of my favourite things about Mario Kart 64, especially as a kid, with too much time on my hands and not that many games to play, one of my favourite things about Mario Kart 64 was just how much bigger the levels were than they needed to be. Like, just extra stuff that didn't really need to be there that I really thought was cool. Right, so, what we're going to do is we're going to head to the next Bowser level. And we do actually have a shortcut here on the left. And we're back at the Bowser door. The big star door. The big Getty Star door. Oh, but what's this? This is Dire Docks. And you have to board Bowser's sub before you can go and face Bowser again. But there's a bunch of pretty easy stars we can get here as well. Yeah. Come on, I need to open that chest. Is that the last chest I opened though? I'm not sure. Let me try the others. No, it's not that one. What about this one? Okay, that's the first. Then is it this next one? Yep. And then there's always 4 of these chests. There we go. Okay, and now we go and get that other one. And the problem being around this area is the whirlpool is constantly trying to pull you in. Yeah. Alright, so that was a pretty simple start. Managed to outswim the shark. Right, there is actually another star in this area. but I guess it's not actually going to appear until... I did not know that cheap can hurt me. Huh. I guess it's not going to appear until we've done Bowser's sub. So let's go do Bowser's sub. This is a level I hate getting the red coins in because there's so much precision required. I don't necessarily mind precision platforming when the game is able to give you the ability to be that precise consistently. But Mario 64 is not one of those games. In fact, actually, there is other stars I can get before this. Like this one that's as easy as just kind of sitting here. Bada bing. And now we grab the metal cap up here. Interesting note, I think this is the only level where you can get 2 caps. Which I will do for the next star we get, actually, because it is required for a star. I'm pretty sure this is the only level with 2 caps in it at once. Like, bob-omb Battlefield has the wing cap, Jolly Roger Bay has the metal cap. I forget which course is actually course 5. Shifting Sandland has the wing cap, Hazy Maze Cave has the metal cap, Lethal Lava Land has the wing cap. There's a bunch of later ones that have caps, but this is the only course that has 2 caps in it. It's kind of neat, and it's something that would have been really interesting to see happen more. It's possible there are some ROM hacks that take advantage of it, maybe. The Vanish cap lets us go through these grates. It's like, maybe there's a ROM hack that lets you take advantage of, like, Wing Cap and Vanish Cap. Having to fly through grates or something, maybe? I don't know. One thing to note with a lot of Mario 64 hacks is most of them can't actually be played on the actual system. Pretty much all of them, or most of them, are designed to be played on emulators. You might be like, oh, how can you play ROM hacks on the actual system? It's like, you can get yourself a flash cart. Like, there's the EverDrive 64, which is a flash cart, and you can just load ROM hacks onto that and play them through the system. The Super Nintendo has some similar stuff, like there's the EverDrive for the Super Nintendo, there's the SD2 SNES, which the big claim to fame for that is that it can replicate the chips that are used by various Super Nintendo games. And you can use those to play ROM hacks on the actual hardware, which can be really nice. Because don't get me wrong, like, playing through Virtual Console and stuff is all well and good, or emulation's fine. But I do really think there's a certain appeal to playing games on the actual hardware, which is really neat, which is why I have a Game Boy Color. Which I really wish there was like a thing for that with a rechargeable battery pack. What was there? There was excuse me, clear my throat there. Now that we've done board Bowser sub, the actual level moves back and we can get into the next Bowser level. We'll get one more star though. Yeah, there was a Game Boy clone that I was looking into that's positively reviewed. The manta ray is here, and what we need to do is fly through the rings, or swim through the rings. Yeah, it's got some pretty positive reviews. It was like the GB Boy Color plays Game Boy Color games, has some pretty positive reviews. It has a backlight, which is really nice. The biggest issue with going back to the Game Boy, and the reason why you wouldn't want to do it, is like the lack of a backlight. It's the biggest reason. The GB Boy Color is like backlight and very similar form factor to the Game Boy. It's got some positive reviews, it's well considered. Takes batteries, doesn't have a battery pack, and it was like, oh, that'd be perfect otherwise. I was really considering picking one up to play my Game Boy games on. But no, I have to make do with playing them on my Game Boy Advance. And it's another thing like that, it's like, why have a Game Boy Advance when I have a DS Lite that will play pretty much every Game Boy Advance game? It's like, you know, there's something to be said for, you know, the playing on the actual system. And you can argue like I have a Game Boy Advance SP. I actually have 3 Game Boy Advance SPs. I have my original that I got when I was 13, I think. No, it would have been younger than that. 12, 11 maybe. Yeah, my original Game Boy Advance SP, because I never actually had the original Game Boy Advance. And looking back on it, I am glad that I didn't get one until the SP, because it's got the front light, so you can actually see the screen, and a rechargeable battery, so I could finally play those games without having to worry about batteries, which was brilliant. But like that Game Boy Advance that SP has seen some usage over the years. The power switch is actually faulty on it. I think the battery charge doesn't really hold much anymore. It's kind of a shame. And my siblings did also claim it for theirs at one point. It's been through a lot with them. They don't exactly take care of things. Okay, and we grab it again. I hate the teleportation in this fight. Okay, and... damn it. Supposedly that's supposed to be So Long King Bowser, but everybody's heard it as So Long Gay Bowser. Oh. Okay, which am I closest to? Yeah, so, yes! So, a few years back, I did actually pick up a new Game Boy Advance. It'd been completely refurbished. I don't remember where I got that from. It was a website that actually did some really good stuff for me. It's a nice, sleek black Game Boy Advance. My original was silver. I had the base silver model, not the tribal model or anything. The one that I really wanted at the time, when I was younger, was the limited edition Zelda one that had the Triforce on it. It was gold. It looked really nice. But no, I got this really nice, sleek black Game Boy Advance SP, which I love and spent a lot of time on. But I did eventually end up finding a... there's two models of Game Boy Advance SPs. There's the AGS-001 and there's the AGS-01. There's the AGS-101. And the 101 is rarer. It's like the standard SP is a backlight, is a front light model. The light is displayed in front of the screen to light the screen up. And for your standard play, it's fine. It plays pretty well. Some of the colour can be a little washed out, but especially at the time, comparing it... No! I hate getting this star. Especially at the time, comparing it to the previous stuff, like the original Advance, which the big complaint with that was how dark the screen was, or the Game Boy Color, or the Game Boy, which didn't have any kind of lighting solution either. The front light was brilliant. But eventually the AGS-101 came out, and it has a backlight. Like, it's just a straight up backlight. Damn it. Alright, fast forward to when I actually get this. I say fast forward rather than cut, just so you can see how many times I'm going to fail at this. And off we go. Alright, we made it. Never actually done it like that before, but it worked. So where was it? The AGS-101. Yeah, it's rarer. It was released later into the Game Boy Advance's lifespan. So it's rarer. It's not unheard of in the US, but over here it's very rare in the UK. There's more versions of it in the US, there's more models and variations. Over here, I think there is like two. Like the coral blue and there's the pink. There's a specific shade of pink that is the AGS-101. And there's also, though, worth noting, if you ever see a SpongeBob SquarePants model Game Boy Advance SP, that's an AGS-101, so pick it up. Did we make it in time? Damn it! Yeah, like the SpongeBob SquarePants one is an AGS-101 and it has the backlight, so if you ever see one of those, grab it. And it looks like the difference between them. You can be fine with a standard SP pretty much your entire life. There's no reason not to be. Until you see the AGS-101 with the backlight, and it looks so much cleaner and so much nicer. And the GBA had so many really solid games that really deserve to be seen in their best like that. Of course, that's really only if you're actually after playing on the Game Boy Advance. Because, like I say, the original DS and the DS Lite both play Game Boy Advance games.